Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. DJ Hampton Stampede, we in the building.
Run! It's a stampede!
DJ Ham the Stampede.
DJ Ham the Stampede.
Captain Tazaryach, what is popping?
Hey, what's going on, brother? We pronounce it Tazaryach, just so you know.
Yeah, my bad. I'll be saying
it's
three different ways.
Yeah, Hebrew got so many different variations and pronunciations, man. But it's a pleasure to be on your platform, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing the right thing, man.
Shit like that.
You know, I was excited before, you know what I mean? But after I talked last night, man, I had to hang up on you, you know? Man, oh man.
Yeah, we did chop it up for a little bit last night.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited, man. This Callie Bev, she one of my biggest supporters. And she been asking me to reach out to you for 2 months.
So shout out to that sister. Big up to that sister, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it.
100%. She put the battery in my back, man. I'm glad, you know. Man.
That's what's up.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Captain Tazaryach, give me 1 second. I just gotta acknowledge who in the chat real quick.
Okay.
Uncut was popping. He became a member yesterday. Salute. Mo Love renewed. Onikasu upgraded. Tips and Tricks came a member today also. Yesterday, sorry. Jarquin as well. The 1KR, I think it's from today. Salute. JYK, appreciate you. Calm Cloud became a member yesterday as well. Heather as well. Salute. Cartier Picasso, we see you. Struggle Lover became a member yesterday also. That's what's up, man. I appreciate y'all. Be safe out here, man. Welcome to the family. Mel was popping. E-Dub in the building. Blue Collar Underdog. T-Will. Mr. Williams, salute. Snuggle was popping. The Chill Room, I see you. What's good? Miss Jelly in the building. Sexy Red, Anonymous. Almond Eyes was popping. Impress putting in work already. Trust, salute to you. TJ was good. B Sammy in the building. I like it. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Freezy, Shalom. Link was popping. Chris, I ain't see you yesterday, man. Hope all is well. You heard? Vet Life in the building. Amin in the building. Calvin was popping. Down south, we doing our best today, man. We doing our absolute best, man. Get the likes up. Melly Mel was good. Rainbow Kid. Callie, of course. Tommy was popping. Leslie, okay, you on time. Appreciate you. Okay, Cap in the chat.
Yeah, I wanted to hit the chat a little bit.
Indeed. Tanisha said Cap 100. Mr. McBride was popping. What? It'd be weird, man. Ali was goody. Here for the T. I see you, man. AC, salute. Zagu, I think I'm putting D. You already know. So Zon was popping. King Kunta in the building. Shy Steve was good. I like it. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most, man. We are here with the legendary Captain Tazaryach today, man. Cap, man, how was your travels and trips and all that? You good?
Oh, yeah. I'm good, man. I'm actually about to, when I finish this interview, I got my clothes washing and drying. I got to pack because I'll be going to Atlanta tomorrow.
Damn. Okay.
So right after this
shit like that.
Word. That's what's up.
Yeah, we're gonna be down in Atlanta. The 4th we teach in class. I think Jenna Hyman's teaching class on the 4th. We have camp that Saturday, and then we're having we do annual cookouts or regional cookouts, I should say, in different zones. So we'll be having a cookout this coming Saturday in Atlanta.
Okay, so that's the 6th. Right?
Yeah, that's the 6th. Yeah.
Shit like that.
Word. Get familiar, man. I know Callie. Callie, I think you in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who that you just popped up on the screen? I think I know her.
Maybe so.
Somebody on the screen.
Yeah. She said she definitely had a few interactions. Yeah.
We used to me and that sister, it used to be her and like maybe 7 other people. We used to chop it up a lot. If that's the same. Is her name Callie? Is it Bev or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yep,
yeah. That's right. Yep,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
I remember. When I saw the face,
like
I
that,
remembered
shit
who
like
it
that,
was.
shit
Yep.
like
Yeah,
I used to
man.
chop it up with the sister. Yep.
That's what's up. The world is small, Cap. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
The
Yeah.
world is small, man. Y'all get the. Let me check the. It's like Cap. It's like the like button got shit on it. You know what I mean? Like they for some reason, they just don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is.
Man, maybe as we get in the dialogue, maybe they'll
Yeah.
step the game up or something. I don't know.
Indeed, we shall see. Venus, what's up? Robert, what's up? So we got 75 likes. We got 145 people in the building. Okay, that's half. I guess I'll take what I can get. Hit the like button. Hit the like
Yeah,
button.
there
That's
you
what
go.
gets us in the algorithm.
Yeah, the like button definitely gets you in the algorithm, man.
Mhm.
Rock that joint out. So you definitely want to hit that.
Indeed, man. Okay, so we are here, Cap.
Yes, we are. What's up?
Cross-
What we rapping about today?
cro-
What we rapping about today?
Cross the line.
It's like one of them. I guess that's probably gonna be like I've done a lot of things, but
Yeah.
that moment right there in time has been like I would say like a earmark where people. I was listening to Eddie Murphy talk, do this interview, and they was asking him like, what if people come up there and talk to him, and they was like, they say "F you, Eddie" in a little African voice because that's what they remember him
Okay.
from. So I know I'm saying that to say like I've done a lot, but most people will remember me from the whole cross the line thing because I think of who it was against as much as me saying it. So at that time it was against the cat Polite, who's now in jail.
Yeah.
But it was against Tim, and at that time, he was like a terror to Israelites. He was always on the scene trying to talk trash and stuff like that. So when he got put in his place that day, I think all Israel celebrated. Like when all black people celebrated when OJ got found not guilty, like all Israel celebrated.
shit like that, shit like
Yeah.
that. Shit
Like all Israel celebrated, like, yeah, Cap, put him in his place, cross the line like that. It was like that's how I look at it. It was like even people that don't subscribe to Israel, being an Israelite, but know it polite and stuff like that. I think that's what that moment in time created. Where I'll always be remembered for that. You know what I mean? So
100%. 100%. It's definitely like you said. When I would see it, right, as I did my due diligence, it wasn't like it was like a pest. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. And then when you did that, like, okay, let's get on some man shit. Cross the line.
Right.
He don't cross. We already know what time it is now. Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that settles it, And then not to get into him, but then you see what he got locked up for. It almost like speaks to the willingness, the unwillingness to cross that line. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's interesting? What made him want to cross the line was when Katazai. So and the reason why I say it's interesting is when I end with it. So when they was trying to get Katazai to talk the whole time. So when I give Katazai the microphone, Polite says, "Daddy letting you talk," like trying to infer that I'm Katazai's daddy.
Yeah.
So Katazai was like, well, if you want to call him my spiritual father, that's fine. Your spiritual father is a child molester. And that's what set Polite off. And what's interesting is if we think about it in hindsight now, he's in jail for those same charges. The same charges that his spiritual father, Malachi York, is in jail for is the same charges that Polite is now in jail for. So now we see why he was so mad that day.
Yeah.
Because Katazai was talking to his spirit.
Yeah.
So Katazai really just talking trash essentially because, okay, you say Tazaryak my daddy, I'm gonna talk about your daddy, your spiritual daddy.
Yeah.
But in real life, this is what Polite was doing. This is the life he was living. And so the Lord always exposes, the scriptures say what's done in the dark will come in the light. So now he's in jail for what he would not cross the line for on that day.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
shit like that, shit like that.
That's the thing, man. As we go into that, Cap, right? I had this conversation back and forth and back about free will.
Right.
Right. A lot of our Christian brethren believe that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, right? And then they'll say we have free will. It confuses me, right? Because if
It confuses me too. When I think of free, like if I give somebody a free $100,
yeah,
they're gonna take that $100. They ain't got to pay me back. Ain't none of that.
mm-hmm.
But if I give you this $100 and you got to pay me back, there's conditions now. If you don't pay me back, then we got a problem. If
Yeah.
you do pay me back, we don't have a problem. That's the conditions. So I don't understand when people say free will. If you want to say a choice, I don't even think we got a choice. But if you want to say choice, you could say that. But we definitely don't have free will.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like me to share just so they can see from a biblical perspective?
Yeah.
But I like the analogy though. I never used that one. I'm gonna steal that one.
Yeah, you could listen, man. That's why I say it, man. So you can steal it, man. Go ahead, take that joint, man. So one of the scriptures that you can go to is in Deuteronomy the 30th chapter and the 15th verse. When you read that, right? So that's Deuteronomy 30 and 15. I'll read it as my good brother puts it on the screen. So in Deuteronomy 30 and 15, it says, "See, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil." So when he's saying he set before us, I'm gonna read the next verse. It says, "In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgment, that thou mayest live and multiply." So now we're getting the conditions. So same thing with that $100. So now you're getting the conditions. If we walk in his commandments and keep them, we will live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Then verse 17, "But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship and serve other gods, and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto thee this day that thou shalt surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou go possess it over the Jordan." So now that's not free will. There's a condition if you obey. There's a condition if you disobey. Now, for my New Testament or for my Christians, that might not be good enough. So, because they'll say, well, that's the old, Christians is real good with saying, like, that's the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So now we go to Hebrews, the 10th chapter, and go to the 26th verse. So now, one thing a Christian will always agree with an Israelite on is that through Christ, we have redemption. So we have redemption from our past sins. So what we did in our past is not held against us. So now let's read what Hebrews say. So Hebrews 10 and 26 says, "For if we sin," I'm going to read 26 to 29. It says, "For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins." So now you don't have this free will. Once you get the knowledge of the sin that you committed, you now have to stop it. Otherwise, there is no more forgiveness. I'm going to keep going. It says, verse 27, "But a certain fearful looking for judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses." Verse 29, "Of how much sorer punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy who have trodden under foot the Son of God, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despite the Spirit of grace." Now what Christ just did was raise the ante. Like he raised the bar. Like in the Old Testament, you had to have 2 witnesses. You don't have to have 2 witnesses right now, because Christ is the witness. And Christ is saying, if you died under Moses with just 2 witnesses, of how much sorer punishment suppose ye if ye sin. So we don't have the free will to sin. If you sin, you get punished. If you obey the commandments, you live. You ain't got to believe me. Just look at the Black community with all the sins that we commit, and we're the walking dead in those communities. Our children don't live. Our grandparents don't live. We don't live. If we get to like 40 or 50 years old, we think that's a good life, when that's not the life that the Most High intended. So there's no such thing as free will. You can argue, you can say choice. Now, me personally, If you tell me life or death, death is not a choice. The only option for me is life. But at best, you can say choice, but we do not have free will.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. At the end of the one-on-one interview, I will be dropping a link if you have questions, comments, or smoke.
Yeah, we take it all.
Pause. So, in terms of him crossing the line, Cap, right? You have pushback where it say, well, what about, why wouldn't Cap turn the other cheek?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think turn the other cheek may be slightly misconstrued. So what this is speculative, but if he would have stepped over that line, would you have picked him up and put him down? Pause.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I think people do misunderstand turn the other cheek, right? And I'm gonna read it, we'll talk about it, and then I'll show what Christ did in the temple so people can understand. Yeah. What we was doing on Cross the Line, on Cross the Line. What we was doing that day is what we call the Lord's work. And so you got this derelict or heretic coming to disrupt the Lord's work. I'll get to that in a second. So in Matthew 5 and
30,
I'm trying to get the exact verse for turn the other cheek. Hold on, let me get that one real fast.
We should be in
Matthew 5 and 39.
39,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm gonna start at 38. So we can understand exactly what turn the other cheek means, because that wasn't a turn the other cheek moment. That was really a check-in. So now, Matthew 5 and 38, it says, ye have heard that it had been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, because that's what it said in the Old Testament. Whatever someone did to you, you by law had the right to do it to them. Verse 39 says, but I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him also. What Christ is doing in Matthew, the 5th chapter, is giving us the spirit of the law. Because you notice when he says in verse 39, but I say unto you that ye resist not evil. Here's the part that people won't see as the evil. The evil part is when he punched me in the face. That was evil. So just if it was evil for him to punch me in the face, it's also going to be evil for me to punch him in the face. And when I punch him in the face, it's not going to stop the conflict. And that was the issue with the children of Israel. Yeah, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. If I was to liken it today, you got Bloods and Crips, GDs and Vice Lords, and everybody is at odds because nobody wants to resist evil. So the cheek is just a metaphor. It's not talking about literally turn the other cheek like that. But it is a metaphor to where, how do we stop the evil in the black community? How do we stop evil amongst the children of Israel? Somebody is going to have to resist evil. Do you have the right to do it by law? Yes, by law, you can get your judgment. But is getting the judgment that way going to resolve the issue? And so that's what Christ meant when he said, turn the other cheek. Now, what Polite was doing on the whole cross the line thing, he was just threatening. He hadn't really done anything. And I was telling you offline, I'll gladly say it on air, me and Polite had a relationship, like we had a rapport. Like we would talk off and on and stuff like that, because when I battle people, if we're in the middle of a battle, when we're in that battle, it's like battle rap. When somebody is when Loaded Lux is battling Hollow the Don, he's trying to totally eviscerate him. He's trying to embarrass him, XYZ. But when the battle is over, they're going to dap it up and they're going to walk off. So that's how I am in battles. I don't take no battle on any subject that's serious to where when I see you, it's harm. So me and Polite was cool. And if anybody watches that video, as him and Polite, him and Katazai going back and forth, I'm standing there because I'm saying to myself, like, I couldn't believe that he got that emotional. And really, if he would have, like, I actually timed myself. I actually stood there for like 5 minutes of them going back and forth. And if he would have gathered himself together, I would have let it go. But he didn't. So now it becomes a point where you really are threatening the camp, and I'm in charge of the camp, so now I have to take charge. Word. And so I just want to read this one scripture with what Christ did when he saw them doing something in the temple. This is John 2. This is John, the 2nd chapter. I'm going to read 13 through 16. This will let you know, turn the other cheek does not mean that you can't fight, so to speak. So this John 2:13. It says, and the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple. So now Christ is making a scourge of cords, and he's beating them out of the temple. And sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables, and said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my father's house an house of merchandise. So now what Christ is showing you, the turn the other cheek is if someone does something to you. But when you're defending the gospel, just like he was defending the temple, you can defend the temple or the gospel as you so see fit. So that was me defending the gospel that day.
I like it, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Cap, I run a lot of panels. We try to have real, honest conversations. It doesn't always go that way, right?
Right.
There are a lot of people who, and I'm going to use this term for the sake of the people listening, use the religion in the Bible specifically when it's convenient, right?
Right.
One thing that is often leveraged against women is Timothy.
He says, I suffer not a woman to teach.
Yeah, that one. And then, well, I may have pulled this one out to show a little bit more context, but Corinthians 14, right? It's kind of backed up seemingly.
Right.
But I was like, well, if you don't believe in this, or if you're not you're not following the law or Christ or etc., can you leverage this against women in these secular conversations when it's convenient? What's your thought?
Yeah, I think we can leverage. So from a biblical standpoint, no Christian woman should be on the pulpit based on what these scriptures say from a biblical standpoint. Because from a biblical standpoint, this is in the New Testament, and they all love Paul, and Paul is clearly saying let the woman keep silent in the churches. And the silent is not talking about her not having a voice, because sisters have a voice in our school. Sisters do amazing things and works amongst us, amongst the brethren. What Paul and what it's talking about in Timothy specifically is leading the men, leading the congregation, like women. And that'd be the problem with women. Women want to be in charge of the community, but if the community failed, then they want to blame it on men. And so that's how you can make it secular. Women were never meant to be in charge, and that's just facts. That's not saying that women doesn't have an opinion. My mother was big mama when I grew up. A lot of women can be, when I'm saying big mama, I ain't talking about being fat, but I'm talking about big mama in the sense of the role that a mother plays, like Deborah. But most women don't want to be a Deborah. Every woman, usually when you have a conversation like this, a woman say, well, Deborah was a judge, and Deborah was a judge, but she was a judge like a mother would judge. She was not a judge like a father would judge. These women want to be teachers like a man would teach, not like a woman. And so when you get, whether it's a secular conversation or whether it's a biblical conversation, women want to be at the forefront of these conversations, and you just can't. You can't be at the forefront because you were meant to give courage. You can give courage to a man. You can give some wisdom. Can't say you can't give wisdom to a man. But as far as being the lead point, that's just not your role. And it'll never work. And the biggest drink that I can give, the main reason why the so-called white man will put the black woman specifically, because America does not put the Asian woman in charge. America does not put the Arab woman in charge or the white woman in charge. But the black woman, they let her get more educated than the black man, more jobs than the black man, be vocal over the black man, because a woman is never a threat. That's the greatest drink I can give. You'll never be a threat to any society. A woman is not a threat. The man is always the threat. And so when women try to get in these spaces and they're fighting with black men to have a voice, you're really helping white supremacy to divide us, because you have a better role. Like if I was to read 1 Peter 3:1, this is 1 Peter 3:1. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word, won by the conversation of the wives. There's a conversation that a woman can have to any man that she will absolutely get her way. And then there's a way that a conversation that a woman can have with a man that even if he does it, he'll make her feel like I'm slapping you in the face to do it because of the way that she spoke. You understand? It's like when you do something for somebody just to shut them up, and then you do something for somebody out of love because it was right. So everything is really controlled by your mouth. And the woman's mouth, that mouth on a black woman, which I love her to death, but the mouth that she has can be the worst thing to ever happen to black man outside of the white man, because she goes off. She talk about your mama, your kids, the kids you ain't had. Like she can be extremely reckless with her mouth. But in the right spirit, they ain't a greater treasure than the woman. But she's not a threat though.
Word. You know, when you make that last point, Cap, and I'm just thinking through the conversation that we often have, is it the weakness of the men allowing that type of conduct, or is it to your earlier point where they're being leveraged in a particular way, or is it a combination of both?
I would say combination of both. So historically, you would have to look at around the 70s, 80s. By the time crack came, they're damn near. I mean, we was already like Frances Cress Wessling made an excellent statement when she said, "We are not black families. We are surviving units." Even what's my girl Shahrazad Ali said, "The black man has never been allowed to be in charge of his woman for the black woman to be independent from." Like we ain't never been in charge of her. What I mean by be in charge free from oppression. Like all black men and black women have experienced is oppression. And so now around the 70s, because now, and even with that oppression, because this is important. When you look up the stats, by the 60s, part of the reason they wanted that integration to really come in full fold is because the black household was becoming the number one household per capita and numbers. Okay. We were the most married. We were the most together. We were becoming the most educated. And so that was the threat. So what they had to do was divide us. So there was a weakness in both sides. The weakness in men was selling drugs, pimping women, trying to emulate the white man and destroying, the communities. And then for the woman, it was the independence. And the white man came and said, "I'll give you this government assistance." So you replaced the father with the government. And then once we did those things, and Mark 3:27 says, "No man can enter into a strong man's house unless he first bind up the strong man." The total attack was to weaken black men. And once you weaken the man, now a woman just thinks survival. A woman is going to tell a boy to be quiet, going to make him docile, going to make him effeminate, not because she necessarily wants him to be effeminate, but because if the father's not in the house, I'm fearful for my kids. So how do I protect my kids? So she thinks I'm gonna protect my kids this way. Where if a father was in the house, the father is putting up defenses. He's putting up a fence. He's putting up borders. He's putting things in place so that not only does she feel protected, but the kids are protected. And as strong and independent as a black woman is, all of them are weak and need security and know it. They may not know it in the moment, but over time they be like, "I just need somebody." Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard this term. Women that say, "I just need a covering. I just need a man to cover me." They don't even be wanting a man for sex to take care of them. They just want somebody that will actually protect them. And so I would never be unjust and say that it's all the woman's fault or all the man's fault. It's both of our fault. But now once we recognize that fault, a black man has to take his proper position being in charge, and the black woman has to take her position as being in support of said charge so that we can dominate. And one last thing, when the feminist movement for white women, and this is important too, because a lot of another weakness of black men, they love that white women too much. And white women were 40% slave masters. The white man was 60%. The white woman was a 40% slave master. So and I'm bringing that up to say when it came time for their independence, it's because they wanted to keep what they had. They didn't want to lose the inheritance of slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You can look this up in history. I can get a good book written by this sister about the white woman's role in slavery. She would go to court. She would take the white man to court and win in court to keep her slaves and keep her property. And so that fast forwards all the way up now. So when a white woman is thinking about independence, that independence for her has nothing to do with being away from a white man. It has everything to do with economic empowerment. Whereas the black woman has been taught that her independence or her feminist movement requires the man not to be there. Even though she's still having sex with him, it requires the man not be there.
Okay, so I see the differentiation. I don't know if I ever heard it differentiated like that, where the feminism movement was to have the options, right, and the pathway to earn and to work, right, while still being married or with a man. And your sentiment is our women see it as not only financial freedom and independence, but just independence overall, where I don't need a counterpart to help me be successful. Okay.
Look at the music. Sybil had that song, I'm independent, I don't need no man. Salt and Pepper had the song Independent. Beyonce and them had that song, was the question, tell me about this and this person. And all of our music is geared towards, not all of it, but on the subject of independence, all of our music is geared towards a woman don't need a man. And the problem is all women need a man. They know it. It's in their DNA. It's in a woman's DNA, just like it's in a man's DNA, to be with a woman if you're a man, or a man if you're a woman. It's in our DNA, and you can't fight it. For the most independent woman, I remember there's a girl, I think her name was I forget what was her name on the internet, but she used to be this big time bashing black men all day, and the type of black man you're supposed to avoid, and then would end up being with the same type of man that she said you're supposed to avoid, because women are slow. And when I say, and for the sisters, I know y'all, one thing about men can take correction, women can't. Because you're more emotional, we're more practical. So when I say you're slow, when I'll use a better word, you're extremely naive, and you can be talked out of anything. That's a black woman. And now the minute you face it, I just helped you put a hedge or defense, because it's going to make you change the way you think. You're going to start thinking, am I a little naive? Am I a little slow? What did he mean by that? So it's not said to down you, it's really said to re-educate you. I'll yield right there.
Perfect.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Kat, maybe you can help me clarify this, right? Because I often believe it starts with the men. You know, all the issues that we have, like, it's disheartening to believe that the government came in. I know we had drugs and guns and etc. And then men just really got removed, you know, to that extent. I'm not saying easily, but it just happened. And there's a whole bunch of people on welfare, but we just got the most disjointed. I understand that it may be a plan against us directly, but when you look at implications, it's difficult for me to implicate the women over the men. What's your thought about that?
My thought is that the black man has been beaten down into powder.
Okay.
If you look at the black man today,
okay,
we act just like a woman, specifically the black woman. The reason why two young boys can't talk to each other without going off and eventually fighting is because they learn how to argue and conversate from their mama. And their mama is emotional. Their mama is a gossiper. Their mama is doing all these things. So they act out just like their mother. Where if they grew up around their fathers and they see their father don't act like that, they're going to emulate what they see. So our young boys, these young teenagers, this Generation Z, X, whichever it is, all they've seen is their mama. Now, What we have to do as black men, we have to go to these young destroyed boys and instill masculinity into them because they haven't had it. If you grew up without a father, you are handicapped. Just like if you grew up without a mother, you cannot, it was never meant, like being a single parent is not something to glorify.
Mm-hmm.
Being a single parent is something that unfortunately you may be forced to do, but it's not supposed to be the way it is. And what most parents neglect to understand is that when you separate from your man, when you separate from from your woman for your own selfishness, you're destroying quintessential things that the child needs. A child needs to see that. So what does a child need? A child needs to see continuity. A child is not supposed to see a stepdad or a stepmother. A child is supposed to see interaction, good interaction between the mother and the father. A child is supposed to see if the father disciplines me, mama coming to give a little nourishment, a little care, because dad might have got a little too far. That's the balance. So if you don't have the balance from your mother and father, so if you got all you have is your father, you might end up being overly aggressive. If all you have is your mother, you'll be overly emotional. The only way you do that is to have a counterweight of both of them being there.
Okay.
But we become selfish. Like if you have a kid, your life is over. If you have a kid, that's why a lot of people don't want kids because, and there's nothing wrong if you don't want children. But a lot of us don't want kids because they know the responsibility that comes with it. Your life is not your life. Your life belongs to that kid. The whole reason of honoring your mother and father in the Bible is because when we get old, our children have to now take care of us like we took care of them. So if you're not taking care of your kids, if you're not being there, you're gonna leave your man because you need to care about yourself. You don't care about them kids. And so we become extremely selfish. When a woman separates from the father of her kids, it's an extremely selfish act. Because if you ask them why they left, it's not because of anything other than, they might have argued a little bit. Relationships, you argue in relationships. Outside of abuse, you can get counsel for abuse. But all of them, I want to be free. I need to renew my life. It's always for some selfish reason. And so now, if we don't go back and discipline these kids, and when I'm saying discipline, because you take a 16-year-old in the gang or something like that, he may not take kind and you saying discipline, but there's a way that you can talk to him because we do it all the time. We go into the neighborhoods, like in New York City. We're real strong in New York City right now. We're being a part of the neighborhoods and talking to people in the communities to instill manhood in them, to instill discipline in them. To these sisters, these little girls, if we don't see the attack of the over sexualization, they got this roach called Sexy Red. She's a cockroach. That is a absolute cockroach that is allowed to be played. And there's another girl named Sukiyana, and I want to make an excellent point here. The other part that we have to battle is playing music around them, playing certain music around them, playing certain TV shows and stuff like that around them, allowing them access to certain things at such young ages is also a problem. So if we allow, and I see videos all the time where they playing music and they got the little kids twerking, they got the little girls dancing, and people are blaming Sexy Red and Sukiyana, which they can play a part, but really, who's playing the music around them? Because the kids don't know Sexy Red, the kids don't know Sukiyana, the kids don't know Glorilla, the kids don't know Young Thug and all of that stuff like that, but we do. I remember I tried to play this, so I found this song. I was listening to Naughty by Nature. It was Uptown Anthem. And I said, Daddy, you got to hear this song. I had just heard this song. He said, all right, play the song. I played the song, and the first bar said, you could light a spliff with a clip, but it's still no mountain high enough. And my father turned the song off, slapped the shit, said, we don't play that music around here. And so I knew I couldn't play that music. I knew that there was rules that was in place that is not in place with these kids today. And that's why these kids can't even take a butt whipping without some type of repercussions of shooting somebody, stabbing somebody, or something like that.
Damn.
Perfect.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Trying to get that first bar, Cap. I can't. It'll flag me if I play it too long. Man,
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, that's why I don't like to play. I try not to play no music that's gonna get my channel from being able to be monetized or anything
yeah,
like that. So I'm with you on that, brother.
exactly. That song was fire, but I could see why
Yeah.
his reaction was what it was. Man, oh man.
hmm
So Cap, down that path, right? We understand why things are disjointed, the reason why people leave. I think how you kind of dove into them just a bit. Not so much the reasons, but is a remedy men, right? There's what, 1 million more black women than black men, I believe.
hmm
Or a couple million.
Something like that. I know they outnumber us.
Yeah, they outnumber us a couple million or so, right? I
Right.
wouldn't say it's negligible, but it's it's one to two, something like that.
Right.
And then a lot of our children are unfortunately born out of wedlock. And to your point, these families don't stay together.
Right.
And like you said, a stepfather ain't a father, but that figure, like how you said, you guys go in the neighborhoods and etc., is very impactful. But one of these sentiments here is dating a single mother is one of the worst deals you can ever sign up for. But it also seems like it could be helpful, a man stepping in. So I'm kind of confounded on that. What's your thought?
About dating a single mother?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now, dating a single mother, it's not bad, but you got to know what you're walking into. I remember one of the brothers in my school said dating a single mother is like picking up somebody's video game and playing the game that they started already instead of playing your own game or something like that, right? Like grabbing their controller. Like they had the controller first and they give you the controller, say, here, now you take it, right?
Yeah, it's on pause.
Yeah. But I would never want to say that because you're a single mother, that means that now you're not eligible to have a relationship, because you never know the circumstances. Circumstances ain't always it could be maybe the brother passed away, unfortunately. So it could be any particular reason. But when you date a single mother, you have to be conscious that this is never going to be your child. Like I don't teach that. Let's say if a father comes in and it's a son, like I'll use myself. I got a stepson. I've never told him to call me daddy or stepdad.
Okay.
He can call me T. Like he would abbreviate. Like my born name was Tyree. My Hebrew name is Tazaryach. So he could say T or something like that. But I never had him call me daddy or stepdad because he had a father. His father was in his life. Him and his mother just wasn't together no more. And so he was in his life. So I never got in between that. The only thing, and here's the hardest battle, and it's more so on women than men. And the women have to understand, if you're going to bring a man into your life, by default, he's going to be a protector, corrector. And that corrector is going to, at some point, include the kids that you have with someone else. It's unavoidable. And if you're not willing to let him step in and discipline at some point your children, then you shouldn't get with that man. So yes, a woman can get it. But again, when kids are involved, your life is not your own anymore. And that's even for the man that comes into the relationship. He has to, and women love to say that, you get with me, you get with my kids too. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. But women most of the time don't realize that if I'm coming and your kids is coming too, discipline is coming with that also. So if that kid, and kids will show out. Kids show out in front of company. Kids show out. You bring this new guy. Now, and here's the other part. Don't let this be the third new guy that she done brought around, because that's another thing women got to stop doing. You can't be having your children cannot see you with a bunch of men. And brothers, you can't do the same thing. If you got the kids, they can't see you with a bunch of women either, because you're teaching them a horrible lesson. You're teaching them not to value themselves or the people or the opposite sex. But when they come in there, if you lay out discipline and the son comes in and tests you, and when the son comes in and tests you and you check him, if you as a mother get in the way of that, you just taught that boy, I never have to listen to him again.
Insubordinate. Yep.
He'll never listen. if you with a woman, she has kids, that kid does something out of line and you say something to him and that woman gets in the way of you saying something, you might as well leave that relationship because you're gonna have hell.
Damn.
Brother. And that's the lesson that women teach. And a lot of times they think, can't nobody correct my kids, but how can nobody correct your kids? But you saying the kids come with it. There was like a man is not going to allow chaos around him. I don't know no good man. I'm not, if y'all messing with some cat that is just having sex with you and don't care about you, that's a whole nother conversation. So I'm going to talk about this as if we're talking about a man that wants to be in a relationship with you. You have children. You cannot get in the way. And as a man, you can't just step in and be daddy. You can't be daddy. That's not your son. That's your brother. Look, if you can understand that, you can understand everything. That's not your son. That's your brother. Not your brother like you grew up with, brother, but brother so you can understand what the relationship really is.
Mm-hmm.
And so even as a big brother, I would discipline my little brother. So if I come in, I can discipline my little brother. Now, I'm not saying he call you bro. I'm trying to just help you understand how you would deal with that dynamic. So single mother life is a life that unfortunately happens, just like single father life is a life that unfortunately happens. That doesn't mean that you can't be in another relationship, but when kids are involved, if you don't want that man or woman to be totally involved in that life, just don't bring them around. Don't be involved.
Word. And Cap, I don't want to linger too much on it. I think that answer had the substance that
you can ask whatever you want, man. You know, I'm straight.
Indeed. No, I just because I just want to make sure that I'm doing a good job of making sure I ask the follow-up questions to the answers or a second part, you know. So I'm thinking through what I often when I'm running the panels, what I hear.
Right.
The issue becomes, right, and I think your approach kind of answers the question, but I'm going to ask it. What about the dad who is not in line, right? The biological father who is not good with you disciplining the kid and etc.
Yeah, you can have a conversation with him. I did.
Yeah, simple, right?
Like I'm now again, this ain't always gonna happen. It's not gonna always happen like this. Because if the dad is not in the life, you'll never have this conversation if the dad is not in the life. So clearly this is only a conversation if the dad is in their life. And so you have to have a conversation with him. And that's why I'm saying use the term brother, because if I'm not going to have nobody be under my roof just wilding out. So if that means I got to have a conversation with this brother, I'm going to go have a conversation with this brother. Hey, I'm Tazaryak. What's going on, brother? He introduced himself. I don't think it's anything wrong with having that conversation if he's active and has those concerns. I don't think that should be a problem. Just like with two women. Now, the only thing with two women gonna be so goddamn envious of each other, they probably can't have that conversation. And if the father, now, in the rare occasion that the father still desires the woman, you may have that, but you can have a conversation with that man. I did it myself. I only state now, and for the record, I only say stepson when I'm having these conversations. I've never called him a stepson at all, ever. But I went and I had a conversation with his father. Shit, I got cool with his father, to be honest with you. I got cool with his father, gave him gym tips. He gave me gym tips. So we went to graduation together, so it wasn't really a bad thing. But it just comes with just being willing to have the conversation and not being emotional about it. And here's a big part for you fellas, not being jealous about it either. If you're jealous about this brother, and the jealousy gonna come from, because most people think that if you have a baby mama, you're having sex with them. So if you think that man having sex with your woman, maybe you shouldn't be with that woman either. You can't have that level of insecurity with it either. You got to be man enough to just go ahead and have that conversation and deal with it that way.
Yeah, 100%. And I allege those things, Cap. There's a lot of like soft shit happening, like people will like to complain, but very few want to implement the remedies, right? It's easier just to complain about the fact that there's a problem. And then I think there's a lot of remedies in front of us, but we don't go about them, right, or apply them for whatever reason. Maybe just because the easiest path of resistance. You know, I'm alleging that those conversations don't happen. People often avoid them, but talk shit about the fact that, you know, whatever the other man's saying, et cetera, et cetera. You know.
Yeah, I think also the biggest conversation that everybody should have with themselves. And you have made a statement. You said marriage out of wedlock. The biggest conversation that black men and women need to have with themselves is who they are actually having sex with. Now, me as an Israelite, me reading that Bible, I know that sex is marriage. In the world, we're taught that you're only married if you get a piece of paper from the government. So men go out and just have sex with whoever they want. Women starting to women
cap they going because if you hold on, Cap, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Because Cap, we had this argument back and forth and back that dick discipline is unrealistic for men.
You should say it one more time.
Dick discipline is unrealistic. We can't. Oh, pause.
No. I ain't have a problem with the statement. I just wanted to hear it. They saying that we don't have the discipline.
No, like, so the brothers told me the sentiment is that we cannot achieve dick discipline. It's unrealistic for men. It's a biological imperative to have sex. So to expect men to not have sex when women are freely giving it is a foolish thought.
Okay, so now here's where I'm gonna give some brushback. Here's where I'm gonna give some brushback on the men. Black women will stop being whores when black men stop loving them. The only reason, like, they're not wrong. Whoever's saying that men need to discipline themselves with their rod are correct. And the discipline comes from that Bible. All black men think, if you think about the music, all black men do is make music to have sex with women. Black men sell drugs to have sex with women. Black men work to have sex with women. A lot, damn near all the things we do is to have sex with a woman. Because we're taught that you can have sex with a woman and throw her away. From, if you go back to one of my favorite examples I like to give is the song called Reasons by Earth, Wind and Fire. You familiar with that song?
Yes, sir.
You know, Reasons is about a one-night stand. Even women don't even know that. Most women, when you listen to the words of Reasons, it says reasons that we're here. After they have the sex, here's the words of the song after they have the sex. Now, after the love game has been played, all of the reasons were just a charade, and all the reasons start to fade. You know why the reasons start to fade? Because he nutted. So because he got that nut off, it faded. But women sing that song. Men sing that song, especially when if there's a version where the brother hits the high note. And the song is fire. The song is fire.
I'm trying to find the high note. Hold on, okay, let me see.
When I was younger, I could hit that high note. I'm a little older now. I can't hit it now. But when I was younger, I would absolutely hit that high note. And when the song is over, that's how black men treat women. And here's the sad part. Black men get mad at black women for believing their lie. You know what the lie is?
What's that?
For the black man to have sex with that black woman, he got to gas her. So he got to say, yeah, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to do all of this with you. I'm going to do all of that. And now you get mad at the black woman after you done had sex with her. You get mad at her for believing your lie. She believed you when you said you was going to stay with her. She believed you when you said I was going to do. She believed your lie. Yeah. So now you get mad at her. So yes, black men absolutely require rod discipline, just like black women absolutely require vagina discipline. And if you separate, now this is where I bring the Bible in place. The Bible says you lay with a woman, that's your wife. That's Exodus 22:16. If you lie with a maid that is not betrothed, you shall endow her to be your wife. So there's two ways that you could do it. You could do it either by going to the father first, which is really the best way to do it. And that's another thing that we miss from fathers. What we miss from having a father in our life is, especially daughters, your father knows you. Really, your father is your first love, good or bad. A lot of women hate men or love men or treat men according to the relationship they had with their fathers, same way sons do with their mothers. So now here's another drink y'all can have for all of y'all in relationships. If you ever want to figure out why your man is or why your woman is the way that they are, look at the relationship they either had or didn't have with their mother or their father, because that's their first love. Now, let's say if you don't go to the father first, but you have sex first, that's still your wife. Now, imagine if you knew, if you laid with this woman, you could not leave this woman. One night stands go out the window. Even shooting up the club, hitting it and quitting it, all of that goes out the window. Same thing with a woman. She's not getting with this man. She's not so infatuated with this superstar where she taking pictures with Chris Brown, letting him grab her ass and all that type of stuff. She's not doing that no more. She's carrying herself better. But we decide to be American, and America loves whores. They love it. When you look at that Valentine's Day, that heart, that's an ass, because that heart is a bent over woman with the ass up, because that used to be the sign for brothels in America. When you wanted to know where the 304 house was, you would look for that heart, and they done turned that into Valentine's Day. So when you become American, you cannot have raw discipline in America. Be an American. When you serve the Most High, when you get back to what we are as Israelites, it forces you to have discipline. The Bible says where there's no hedge, there the protection is spoiled. And we are spoiled. We are spoiled. We are destroyed. We have no wisdom or understanding. And that's why women are damn near in competition, because they're trying to be like men. Like, okay, I want to have sex like a man has. Why can't I have sex like a man has when a woman wasn't made to be dominated by multiple men like that? She was not. That is not your makeup, sis. Your makeup, here's how you know the difference between a man and a woman. If a man has 4 women and a woman has 4 men, if that man wants to impregnate those 4 women, he can get impregnated the same night. The same night. The same night they all, whenever they, if they all, what's today? The 2nd. If they all ovulating on July 3rd. Now when the ovulation egg drops, you got like a 3-day window. So he got between the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th, and he can impregnate all 4 of those women. That woman gonna have a problem, because them 4 men that she got, one of them gonna have to be the last one that had a baby by. And you better hope that by the time she gets to that baby, she ain't got fibroids and other problems and all other kind of issues. It ain't gonna work. So even biologically, a woman was not meant to have and be with multiple men. But the men are the rulers. Once again, I started this conversation by saying the men have to take charge. So it is the men that has to have raw discipline. If we had raw discipline, there's nothing that woman can do. You would not sleep with her. There shouldn't be nothing that she could do. She shouldn't be able to send you a video that makes you violate it. She shouldn't be able to send you a picture. She shouldn't be able to do anything, no matter what she does. And when you reject her, you're going to teach her, maybe I should try something different. Maybe I should be a better woman. I don't know if you saw this video I put on my Instagram. Mm-hmm. They had these fine women, and the brother just walked up to him and was like, what's 8 times 6? These beautiful women don't know what 8 times 6 is. This another woman, they go, what's 7 times 3? She say 21. And then he goes to the very next girl and say, what's 3 times 7? She don't know. But they all said it's lit. They all dressed the part that they believe will get a woman, will get a man, because we taught them what would get a man. We taught them to wear short skirts. We taught them that. We taught them to put their ass out. We taught them to do all of those things. So we wanted to stop. We got to stop.
Damn. Cat, see that? Okay. See that's what I be thinking. But it's like this. It's said, right, and I'm just giving you the talking points. You probably heard them, but I just want to make sure I'm diligent in it. It said that if women require marriage, men would get married. But since women are giving up sex without commitment, men are going to oblige it. But what I hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we should be steering that ship.
Yeah, we control that. We absolutely control that. We should be the ones saying, nah. Like in our school, for example, we force what's called a 1-year rule if you get with somebody in our school. Okay. Now, it doesn't work like that if you date somebody outside the school, but it's supposed to give you some type of principles. Like whatever happened to like courting a woman, like getting to know a woman. Like social media did something amazingly horrible to relationships. It allowed all the communication to be taking place through a chat device, pictures to be shared through a chat device, to where now when the person comes and sees you, he just thinks it's sex time because I did all the courting through an electronic keyboard. So they don't think, let me take out a date. Let me get her some flowers. Let me finesse her. Like back in the day, you had to put some work in to do it. You had to take it out, take it to a park, go get some food, do all the things that require courting. We don't even think like that. But this is something that men have to take charge in. So women cannot be in charge in how sex happens. So outside of course, forcibly forced like that. Women can't be in charge of that.
100%. And we could share that verse where you found a damsel and you lie with her, you get put.
That's Deuteronomy 22.
22 and
I think it's Deuteronomy 22 and 28.
Yeah. I'll share that one just to make sure that they also understand the Bible's clear on that type of shit too.
Yeah, you cannot. Because I said outside of, you cannot force a woman under any circumstances. You can't force a man under any circumstances. And so the scripture I believe the brother is about to pull up is a scripture that some Israelites either misunderstand, misappropriate, or confuse. And so earlier I had read Exodus 22 and 16, and that scripture goes right along with this scripture when it says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her. That word lay hold does not mean to force. It's talking about to manipulate or seduce or entice. That Hebrew word there for lay hold is H8610, which just means to manipulate. It's like if you spit game. Like I say, man, I caught a couple girls at the club the other night. Nobody's gonna think that I forced myself on a couple of girls the other night. They're gonna say, oh, he hollered at a couple of girls the other night. So that scripture is not talking about forcing a woman. The Bible does not condone forcing a woman to have sex at all. Yeah. So I know some Israelites do teach that, but that's not in the Bible.
That's not in the Bible. I just want to make sure that was clear. So, definitely clear. 100%. So I just want to ask a straight out question. Do women control access to sex?
They do control that part. They do control the insertion part. They do control, of course you can't just walk up to them and take it. What I was talking about is controlling how we get it. That's what we control. We control the method of how we get it. They control the completion because they do have to consent to it. So I would say they control that part. But we can control this whoredom though. This whoredom that's running amok in the black community, we can control that. We done turned our women, like we done sexualized the black woman to where even we done destroyed the black woman so much to where when those of the community, when they want to act out, they act like a black woman. When someone wants to be a 3 or 4, they act like a black woman. Like the same way with the black woman, the black man has been beaten in the powder, that black woman has been beaten down too. The only problem that we both have is that we still look at each other as enemies when we the only ones that can save each other. And we don't spend enough time doing that. Most sites thrive off of the back and forth of a black woman, you ain't this, and a black man, you ain't that. I don't see the sites that thrive off of a black man and a black woman coming together saying that we both messed up and then how do we just fix that problem and not make if a woman brings to me a solution to what black men should do, I don't listen to that and say I need to attack what she said, which is what normally happens. If the black woman says, well, we need y'all to be more in the community, we need y'all to be to do this, we need y'all to take more charge, she's right. So I should just take that and say, okay, we should do that. And then if I say to her, I need you to start listening, stop yelling at your man, stop putting him out the house, calling the cops, she shouldn't look at that to have a counter. But in most conversations that I see online, it's always a counter. If a black woman says something to a black man, it's a counter. It's always an argument. It's never solution based. So if we can get down to that, that will be, I did a lecture called The Cure for the Hatred Between the Black Man and Black Woman, because we're miseducated. Like, who convinced us that the black woman who we love, who we adore, who we lied to, who we seduced, who taught us that she was our enemy? Who taught her that we was her enemy? America taught us that. And it taught us that because if you destroy a household, you destroy that ethnicity. And we're the only household or ethnicity that our household is targeted. So, hope I answered the question.
All right, fellas. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Yo, Cap, you know, they be coming on the panel, not just on the panel, but you see a lot of videos. I see other creators just talking about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Why y'all be yelling at everybody on the street?
Man, we ain't yelling at everybody on the street. We just have a mic. So
Cap.
Stop the cap.
Oh, okay, so I'll be fair. We do yell, but a lot of that yelling comes from, okay, so think about, so like you and I in this room, you in your space, I'm in my space. If I was yelling, it'd be like, damn, Cap, why you yelling? Yeah. But now imagine you outside on the street, you have to project your voice. So Isaiah 58:1 says, cry loud, spare not. So now you have to project your voice so that the people can hear you. You have a microphone so that people can hear you. So the whole goal is for as many people to hear you as possible. So because of that goal is why it may seem like we're yelling, but we're really just projecting our voice. Now, arguing will probably be better because I've seen some videos where cats just be arguing, so I'm not going to be biased and say we don't argue. Even I battle, so I argue. So if you're having a back and forth, then that's different. But our voice are always going to be loud because we're on the street, and the whole goal is to be loud. That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. 100%. Why on the street?
I slapped somebody before. I slapped somebody recently. Wow. No, I'm joking. Wow. I did a skit with this comedian where I slapped him for being with a white woman. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you.
Send it to me.
It's only 1 minute long. I'm gonna send it to you real fast. It's on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, send it. Put it in the back, and I'll click it. Okay.
Yeah, I did this skit with the brother. I think 2 weeks ago. I was in Atlanta. And so I was in Atlanta shooting. I was on the 85 South show. So we had did a show on there. And so after that, the guy, Moneybag Mafia, he was like, yo, we should shoot a skit. And I asked him, so he said, but it involves a white woman. So I said, okay, cool. What's the skit about? So the skit is, I just put it to you in the back chat. So the skit is about him walking past with a white woman. He stops us, and then I'm sorry, we stop him, and he start talking about his little white woman, and he does all the ad lib, like we don't talk. And then you're gonna see me slap him. When I slap him into an Israelite garment. I
see this one. I saw this one. Hold on, I saw this.
That's what we're doing out here, man. Bringing the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, man. Look at this goddamn clown, man. What you call yourself doing out here, man?
Nothing. You know, me and my wife.
Oh, wife? Oh, Most High's gonna kill your ass. Oh, man.
Got a little bun in the oven. You know, big man blessed us.
What's your nationality, Miss Lady? You white?
Yeah, I'm white.
Lost ass niggas, man. Lost ass. Goddamn. Give me Deuteronomy. Give me Deuteronomy 7 chapter, man. 73, man. Read on.
Do not intermarry. Do not give your sons to their daughters, or your daughters to their sons.
That's right. Shut your goddamn mouth,
That's
man.
right.
This goddamn read it again,
That's
man.
right.
Read it again for this goddamn
Right.
man.
Chapter
Read it
7,
again, Deuteronomy
verse
73, man.
Do not
73, man.
intermarry.
The Most High is
Do
gonna
not
kill
give
your
your
ass.
sons
Try with
to
this
their
goddamn
daughters,
peck of
or
wood.
your
Man,
daughters
just damn
to their sons.
We gotta
Y'all
do
shot that skit with him like 2 weeks ago, man. Shout out to Moneybag Mafia, man. We had shot that skit together,
Yeah,
man.
salute.
That's crazy.
Damn, man, that's cool. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. That like button right now, if you can, that helps the channel the most. Interestingly, Cap, that scripture, Deuteronomy 7. When I look at that scripture, you know, since we just on the topic from the skit,
Right.
it's naming specific Hamite nations there.
Right.
So does that? So I haven't seen. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. In terms of white women, it may be. What I saw is may not be expedient, you know, like Paul says in Corinthians 10.
Right.
But does it make it against the law?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. So in First Kings, and that's a good question. And so this is one of those things where Nehemiah and the Most High specifically knew like the spirit of that law, because that law clearly says if you sleep with them, it don't talk about them being ugly or anything like that. It just says if you sleep with them, they're gonna turn your heart from the Most High, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So does that not also apply that if you sleep with an Asian, they're gonna turn your heart? You sleep with an Arab, they're gonna turn your heart. So now I'm gonna read some scripture. So this is First Kings 11 and 1. I'm gonna read 11 and 1 in verse 2. So it says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they would turn away your heart after other gods. Now you notice in verse 1, there are nations named in there that are not in Deuteronomy the 7th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Because the point of Deuteronomy the 7th chapter is to only marry your own. It's never to marry outside of your race. And then if I was to read Nehemiah the 13th chapter, Nehemiah is going to flat out say Solomon sinned. So this is Nehemiah 13 and 25 and 26. It's Nehemiah 13 and 25. And it says, and I contended with them and cursed them and smote. Now, the backdrop is they had married Moabite women and Ammonite women. And it says, so, and I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by the Most High, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons or for yourselves. Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations were there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king of all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. So we are not supposed to date anybody outside of our race, period.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, leave that white woman alone. Listen, when you sleep with a white woman, just know you envious of the white man. Just know that. Ain't nothing worse than a black man sleeping with. Listen, I hate you sisters that sleep with white men as well, but it's far more black men that sleep with white women than the other way around.
Yeah.
You know
Damn.
If I could sidebar, I'm gonna tell you how disgusted I am. There's some white dog that did this whole hawk tour thing, right? And what pissed me off the most, and they say and I like to always tell the truth, what pissed me off the most is black people using that as a litmus test of what women should do. not understanding that there ain't a greater whore on the planet than the white woman, and we're gonna take it. And now what we encouraging black women to do? Hawk tour like a white woman, and I hate it to my core. And it's Israelites that's doing this. Israelites that's saying it. Regular brothers that's saying it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I just wanted to say that.
They're like men are saying hot tour.
Men are saying that the women should hop tour like the white woman is. Like they taking what that white woman is. Say what?
No, go ahead.
I'm saying this white woman said you got a hop tour on that right there. Play that right there. Play that.
The original.
Move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk tour and spit on that thing. You get me?
The original.
No, that's a white woman. And you got black men, Israelite black men and women talk about you got to do that. And that disgusts me. Me personally, I'm disgusted at all you Israelite men and all you regular brothers in the world that is using a white woman as a litmus test for what your black woman to do. That's just me.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Damn. Okay. So, all right. I had two questions that popped in my head. Okay. I want to clarify for the people. Firstly, who can they date as black people?
Oh, so for us as Israel, you can date any one of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in North, Central, and South America. We're also overseas, so we got a school overseas, and so you can date over there. But in America, you can only date black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. That's it. Can't date outside the race.
Okay. Does it is there any differentiation? Like, you got Boricua, Taino,
so you can't be a Spaniard. Like, so just because they say they Puerto Rican, you got to check and make sure they're not a Spaniard type of Puerto Rican, Spaniard, Mexican. When I say Bob Marley, that's a white man. So, Bob Marley would be off limits because that's a white man. You know what I mean? So that's how we look at it. We look at what you are ethnically. It's not about your skin tone at all. It's just about what you are ethnically. So if you're an ethnic Israelite, so if you're ethnic Taino, ethnic black, ethnic Native Indian, then you're fine. If you're not those things, then you can't.
Okay. So obviously they're gonna want to understand. We don't got to go too far, but far enough so that they get the understanding.
I can give a brief rundown.
How is Bob white?
Oh, his daddy white. Oh, Google Bob. Google Bob Marley father. When you Google Bob Marley father, Bob Marley looks like his father in blackface. Them little lips, that little nose, them beady eyes. He get all that from his white father. His skin tone and hair texture he gets from his black mother. But just Google Bob Marley.
Now,
Google Bob Marley father.
How do you answer the question? You say, well, his mom white? I mean, his mom black?
Oh, that question. You are the seed of your father. Always remember this.
Mm-hmm.
You was swimming in your daddy's balls before you went into your mother. And whatever comes out of the daddy is what grows. Think of it like we call a woman the earth because the woman receives seed. She don't have seed. So if you put a orange seed in the earth or apple seed in the earth, it's going to come up what you put in there. So if you take a black man's seed and put it in a woman, it's going to come out a black child. Now, scientifically, you get the same chromosomes, 23 from the man, 23 from the woman. And even science says the portion of DNA that makes up who you are ethnically comes from your father. So having a black mother doesn't make you black.
Wow. Perfect.
Go ahead.
No,
if you wanted to anything you want to show them just so they can refer to it biblically speaking so they understand.
Was that the seed of their father?
Yeah.
The 12 tribes of Israel is all men. When in Egypt, they wasn't trying to destroy the young girls. It was only the boys. When you go to Numbers, I think it's 18:1. Make sure I got that right. It might be 1 and 18. Yeah, Numbers 18. No, it's 18:1.
Okay.
I thought it was 1 in 18.
Well, numbers 1 is
it's actually
they were
both of them.
separated by the seed of the father. Yeah.
Their pedigrees by their families. So Numbers 1 and 18 says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. There's never a house of their mothers. And if you do the same thing with Numbers 18 and 1, let's talk about Aaron. So that's a little different. So, but Numbers 1 and 18 is pretty straight and to the point.
Yeah. 100%. And you know, when you look at it, right? And people often push back against this particular, I'll use narrative just for the sake of conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every movie you watch, you ever watch Troy?
Yeah.
And he say Achilles, son of Peleus, right? Like they all only say their father's lineage, throughout all, just in the white boy movies,
right? And for all you, because women don't like to hear this part because they want to be a part of every goddamn thing. This ain't taken away from the child acting like you, looking like you, getting your traits. We only talking about what makes their nationality or their ethnicity. That's it. For all intents and purposes, Bob Marley acts everything like his mother's side. He doesn't act like an Irish man, which is what the father was.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Okay, so dang, I forgot the second question, but I need to ask. It was so we went to the seed of the father to clarify that, and then you're saying like black women date way more white women than black women step out for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I said black men are far more disloyal than black women when it comes to white people.
Perfect. So you think that black women are more race loyal, which is why they don't step out, and you think we're more disloyal?
Yeah, on the subject of who sleeps with a white woman. Yeah, on the subject of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Black women are more loyal.
The argument would be that it's not that they're more loyal, is that they have less options. What you think?
No, that's cap. That's cap. Because the black woman is the standard of beauty. The black woman is the standard of beauty. So I just think that, listen, black women suffer black men, and then and she suffer him by putting him on child support, fighting him, and all that stuff like that. But she's far more loyal. Listen, a black man asleep with a white woman for nothing. I guarantee you, it's about 1 million black men looking for that white dog we just played that video of with the Hop Tour. Wow. They all outside looking for that white woman right now. Wow. And we don't have that type of loyalty that black women have to us. Wow. I ain't saying they better at, we both equally wicked, but on this subject here, the black man is far more disloyal to the black woman. Wow.
You know they never heard that before, Cap.
Listen, when I was coming up as a kid, now I have not ventured in that route, but it was always in my community. Get with her, she's more easier, she do this. Like, it's always been like that. That's all I've seen. Dang. Look at our celebrities. Our celebrities go buck wild getting with them. Listen, you know who I found out had a white wife?
Who that?
James Evans from goddamn Good Times. White wife.
James got a
the
white
whole
wife?
time James on Good Times being one of the most hardcore fathers black TV has ever saw. He went home to a white woman. James Evans. White.
Oh shit.
Shout out to Aaron Woe in your chat. He said the comments, both men and women switching sides. That's funny as hell. Look, you see that? Look, that's James Evans. John Amos.
Damn, James.
Black men, because that's the white man's trophy, that became our trophy. A black woman don't want to be. Most black women are intelligent enough to know that all you could ever be for the white man is his bed wench. That's what most black women know. Black men don't mind being the mutt of the white woman, her pet. You sleep with that white woman, you are her pet. That's it.
Wow. Shit like that. Shit
You
like
might
that.
put a dog leash around your neck and bark when she say bark. Salaki.
Golly. Like, share, subscribe to. Oh my goodness, man. Like, share, subscribe
I know
to.
you said you want to take some people. I got like 18 more minutes now.
Oh shit. Yo, my bad. I've been having too much fun.
You put it in chat. Yeah, I was texting you everything, man.
I'm terrible at the damn private chat. I apologize.
No sweat,
I turn the chat off when I'm doing the interview so I can focus. Yeah. Man, oh man. Hold on, Cap. You hit these niggas with a honey bun, man. Hold on. Man, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Cap, I got one question. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna read the super chats, and then we're gonna let the people talk to you. Dropping the link now for anybody who has a question. A pet is crazy.
Yeah, you're a pet.
And then one question I want to ask you, and this will be brief. Why the Power Ranger suits?
Listen, man, you see how glorious my brother was in the commercial we just played. Fire. You know, when they call us Power Rangers, you calling us superheroes, right?
That's a fact, though.
That's a fact. Listen, the Power Rangers defeated the enemy every episode. So when you calling us Power Rangers, you calling us superheroes. But biblically speaking, we wear fringes on our garments. That's Numbers 15 and 38, and you would put a border of blue on your garments. So that's why we wear it. And you can read the studs. I see if I can find the studs. I think that's in Song of Solomon and First Maccabees. It talks about the men wearing warlike apparel. So we just dressing like according to how our ancestors would dress, and we put our certain spirit on there. So I had one of my headpieces. I might be able to grab one of my headpieces. So we wear it because we look fly. Yeah. And I ain't never had a problem getting no woman in that Power Ranger suit either.
Shit like that.
Let's put that on the record.
Hey, that's a hell of a point. The Power Rangers ain't never lose.
Yeah, Power Rangers ain't never lose. We the superheroes. Power Rangers win every episode. They form. I thought listen, when I used to, one of my cousins used to watch it. I thought it was a little crazy, but they would win every episode, beat the monsters and everything.
Hell yeah.
I mean, calling somebody a superhero. I mean, what is y'all?
Thanks, right? Damn. Mr. Jones, and we out.